that's comedy.
So Astral Chain recently released and I guess people like it? Maybe? I actually don't know because apparently it sold very well, but on YouTube there doesn't seem to be anyone talking about it. Maybe it's because videos on Platinum Games don't get many views. I mean, your Dragon Quest XI video has more views than Nier.
You're serious?
You don't say.
Okay, so Astral Chain is Platinum Games, you know these people, newest game on the Nintendo Switch. It blew people away at its E3 reveal and shocked everyone that it would only be released a few months later. But the biggest thing to take away from the game is that, holy moly, this is seriously a really good Jojo game. So the game starts up with a cutscene showing an old man who definitely isn't evil, experimenting on these otherworldly beings, locking them up with chains.
Activate the Astral Chain. Engage the restraints.
Aha, she said the word. So the creature is chained up and converted into a cube, while Brenda says that the two best candidates for the job are the twins, and that's where we come in. You get to pick either male or female of the twins, and doing so, the other character becomes a main NPC named Akira.
Akira, my good man.
Which is interesting in that they had to voice and animate every scene with the roles reversed. So of course we pick the female and set out on a motorbike. Space Invaders ripoff.
Seriously?
I know you won over many fans with this in Nier, but please, I'm begging you, no more Space Invaders.
What a deal!
That being said, the segment is much easier and shorter than the other game, and we arrive at the mayhem on the highway, as it looks like mutated humans are terrorizing the police. Oh yeah, and by the way, we are the police in this game, which is kind of unique as well because not many games have you play as the law enforcement. But when all looks lost,
Just in time, huh?
Dad?
so yeah, our dad, who somehow has a daughter with blue hair and green eyes, he saves us with this giant blade creature he controls on a chain. This is his Jojo stand. What? That's literally what they are. Anyway, the old man, who is the commander of the police, tells Daddy to give us the weapon, to use our own stands, as they are the only way we can attack these invisible creatures that seem to be pouring out of these red gates.
It's time to
So this is now how the gameplay works in the game, where both you and your legion fight enemies. I'll get into it later on once we have more features, but pretty much you command it with the chain, or the left analog stick. However, a big Dark Souls enemy pops out and through some slow-mo shenanigans, we awaken our Super Saiyan power, which is noted by the veins and blue eyes.
Nice.
We use this power to one-shot the boss to save Daddy and brother. Also a reminder that this is all in the first half an hour of gameplay. It's just speeding through the tropes, eh?
That's impossible.
We then get a really hype anime opening. Yes, it's pretty anime. Before cutting back to the old man who says, "Welcome aboard, kiddos," and proceeds to again copy Nier by recapping what happened to humanity. You guys really don't like humanity surviving, don't ya?
No kidding.
So to summarize, most of humanity had been wiped out, and the remainder shut themselves up on an island near Chile. Yes, we're in South America. You don't often see that in Japanese games. But even then, humanity faces threats from another dimension, which opens these gates, sending out invisible chimeras. Now to combat this, the old man created the legions, by chaining up the chimeras to use against themselves by the police. And so begins our life as a policewoman, but well, this is Olive, or Olivia because I keep getting that name confused. The communications worker who gives us information during our shifts on the comm link. The other characters, well, they don't really get too fleshed out. Okay, maybe Brenda, the doctor, who definitely doesn't remind me of another medical worker.
That's impossible.
And yeah, that's pretty much all the main characters in the department.
This is the break room, where dog-tired members of Neuron come to catch their breath.
Oh look, it's the police mascot, Lappy, a giant talking dog. What is with Japanese police games having big animal mascots?
Huh?
Oh, my head!
Okay, yes, fine, we get it. Your best girl.
Pleased to meet you, partner. You can call me Lappy.
Wait a minute. Is that Morgana?
Oh?
AKA Sothis? With a Texan accent? I don't know how to feel about that.
We're gonna be best friends.
So with Lappy, we get shown around the department. You have a training area if you want to practice the moves, a cleanup place because apparently your Widow Legion pets are all dirty.
Such a good boy, such a good boy.
This is also where you can change their colors, and this brings me to a big plus with this game, the customization. Now if you're new here to the channel, the two things that win me over in games are extensive customization and rhythm games. Yes, I know I'm very weird.
Jiff, partner.
But apart from our eyes, hair, and skin, we can also change our outfits. Damn, I'm so hot right now. You can unlock outfits by doing special quests which you can find over here. In fact, a lot of things can be customized as rewards for completing these objectives. Like you can change the voice of Iris, the Batman hologram detective mode thingo, or unlock more colors for your pets, or even change the UI of the game. Yes, it's that extensive and I love it. Now you get the usual other places like the doctors to buy healing items, weapons shop for upgrades, or the bathroom.
Yeah, this sure is a bathroom.
I guess to even use it, you first had to drink something, and what better place than a vending machine?
What can I do for you today?
Man, the future sure is weird.
Thanks. You can come back anytime. I mean, if you feel like it.
Next you have the animals, and I kinda wanna rant on this, because a big marketing push for the game was the fact that it featured a lot of pets. Now this was the time after Fire Emblem was out, and we know how that turned out. So I thought, gee, maybe we can actually pet the animals. No, another Switch game where we can just walk all over them. Well, at least you get to pet the Doggo Legion.
Such a good boy.
Finally, it's the training room, where you can learn the combos and gameplay. So pretty much, the left analog stick is to move your Legion, and the right is for your main character. It does take some getting used to, and finding out the fact that you don't actually control the Legion that much. Yeah, moving it around won't cause it to attack, it's to wrap the chain around the enemies, and if it completes a circle, you tie them up for a little bit. To actually attack, you press L and it sends them out to the nearest enemies, while it auto attacks. Pressing it again recalls them. For yourself, R is to attack and B to dodge roll. Well then, pretty much if you want to be a pro at the game, just spam these 3 buttons. Okay, but seriously, it's more complex than that, and the combat might be my favorite from Platinum games. Although I will say for dodging, you actually have to dodge the attacks. There's no witch time or phasing out. If your fat tushy is in the way of the sword, it will get hit. This was probably the biggest hurdle for me to get over, as dodging in the other games meant you could slow down time. Oh, don't worry, you can still counter with perfect dodges, but I found it's best to move away while your Legion can attack. I will say it honestly does feel very realistic as you run slower than 2B, you know, the super android, as you are just a human, and it feels realistically heavy to move around in a good way, but you can still do some fun combat maneuvers. The other big mechanic is the pull feature, whereby pressing L and R, you pull yourself to where the Legion is. This is great to send them out, then pull yourself in so both of you attack for extra damage. Or it can help you stay in the air to attack flying enemies, because yes, unfortunately, you can't jump in the game. Yep, so if there's any place to jump, you have to use the left stick to move the Legion over and then pull yourself across. As for the actual mechanic, I never really got the hang of it, because many times I would mispress the combos and fall off, which isn't a game over. Your main Legion just pulls you back up while you lose some health. But yeah, this is your main Legion, and over the course of the game you get a total of 5. Sword, Doggo, Arrow, Heavy Sword, and Jojo. Okay, I first should explain more on the police thing, in that every chapter goes as follows, where there is something odd happening in the real world with the red shift. So you fly out to investigate, and in the cyberpunk area you can free roam with many side quests and activities. Yes, this is core gameplay.
I understand.
I've seen their channels, and frankly, Doctor, none of our channels come close.
Most of the side quests are pretty easy. They usually involve finding someone, asking around, using a detective mode to investigate a crime, or tie up a runner. And I also guess most people have seen this, but yeah, you can walk around with ice cream, using the gyro controls to keep it steady. this what it feels like to live in New York City? When you feel like it, then you can go to the main quest, which is some anomaly that the police have to investigate. You fight some chimeras before going into a gate into the astral plane.
As yeah.
You and your legion can traverse to the other dimension, and this is where the puzzles begin. Now each legion has this extra ability, which you use by pressing ZL, and for example, Sword goes into this stance to slice things with a left analog stick, Arrow gets a charged shot, Jojo literally lets you wear him, and Heavy Sword gives you a shield. Doggo on the other hand, yeehaw. Now the game will throw these puzzles onto you, like shoot this orb to open the block to move on, or use Jojo to move heavy object, that sort of deal. You honestly won't have much trouble working out what to do, but it's often the fact that actually doing these things can be a hassle at some points. I never honestly understood games that make the action really fun and then try to break it up with many puzzles. I mean, I love the criminal investigating stuff in the real world, as it reminds me of the amazing Arkham games, but sometimes I really just got irritated by the numerous amounts of puzzles the game kept throwing at you. Speaking of mild irritation, did you know this game has co-op? Yep, with each Joy-Con, you can play with your friend, where one controls the main character and the other controls the Legion, and it works as well as you suspect. From the footage, you can see that it got a bit confusing, as the person controlling the stand controlled the camera, so while I was running, I had to tell my brother, left, look left, no right, no, your other right. I mean, it's fun for like the first 10 minutes laughing at it, but when you try to do the story and bosses, it's extremely challenging. Like, I swear, this game is not meant to be played on a single Joy-Con. But okay, to some other mechanics, there is this thing called red shift, which are the crystals that appear on the ground and your stand can collect them. They also attract to humans, which is what causes the mutations you saw earlier. You can then use your sword boy to suck them up. This then increases your police rank because, yes, you actually have to act lawfully, meaning if you aggressively run around or cause a little mayhem, like crossing the roads when you're not meant to. Alright, so we gotta wait to cross the street. Oh my goodness! I did not know the game did that. I'm sorry. Why yes, I stream weekly, how about that?
Not bad.
But these things lower your rank, which is bad because every time you level it up, you get a new hat. Some would say that's dumb, I would say...
But she's got a new hat.
Okay, so back to the story then, where we get called to the main city, as a huge chimera has broken through, meaning we have to use the old Batman investigation to find clues. Once done, you speak with Daddy and he asks you to summarize the case.
So why'd the Chimera come here? Sightseeing? Or do you have a better guess? You just wake up or something?
We then pursue its tracks and find the giant beast, with a little introduction like many of the other games. So I guess this was done for some people, but the enemies and bosses don't show their health right away. You have to turn on Iris to see it pop up. Then attacking or pressing it again cancels the mode. This was done, I guess, for people who don't feel like seeing enemies' health bars, but for me, who loves seeing them, well, it got a bit annoying as I had to do this at the start of each fight. And speaking of things at the beginning of fights, you get a camera. Yes, add that to my list of things I want in every game. Now the rewards I mentioned earlier give you new filters, and taking photos of characters or places adds it to your model viewer. Yeah, this is gonna end pretty badly. Okay, so back to the story. We get pulled into the Astral Chain and have to fight another boss, while our crew follows. And through some shenanigans, the police end up losing all their legions as they break free from their chains. But since we are the super special MC, we fight ours and reclaim it. The other legions then gang up on us and I was holding my own. But of course the cutscene plays where it shows us on the back foot. Olive helps us find a way out, but the legions keep coming. Guess it's time for the stereotypical Daddy Max to sacrifice himself while we escape. So yeah, in like the first 2 hours of the game, it's already gone through so many tropes you would see from most anime. It doesn't get much better with more of these tropes popping up later on, and I would say that's the biggest downfall of the game. The story is kinda meh. I mean, the premise and setup is great. although a little bit copyright infringing. But when they introduced a new character, I'm just thinking, oh, they're gonna do that. And then they do that. That being said, the character designs are amazing. Like 9S being a drone. Yes, this is literally 9S.
Seriously? You know, from Subway. Yikes.
There's also this amazingly designed rebellion leader guy. And, Jenna Anderson. Yes, that's her name. The villain, who also looks like the commander from Nier. Okay, I really should stop with the Nier comparisons.
No kidding.
But seriously, what's up with her name? It's so boring. I honestly think people in Japan find our names amazing, since come on, our surname is Howard. Howard! It's like how in the West, where 14-year-olds will look up Japanese names to name their OCs. Yes, I know you've done it, don't lie to me.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
But on the characters, the game has a surprising amount of voice acting, like the aforementioned both twins being voiced depending on your route, and some of the character voices are well known, at least on this channel so far, but I will say, some of the performances can be a bit
That's impossible.
Like it can get extremely cheesy at times, but then again, I would prefer cheesy voice acting over no English dub at all.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, this game has quite a bit of cheese. Now with the design of the game, it's honestly amazing. If you can't tell from my channel, I absolutely love sci-fi and cyberpunk. So a game that has Jojo-like stands with Nier-like combat, Arkham-like investigations, and this amazing music.
I swear this will be all on this lo-fi channel soon.
Now with all that being said, I won't spoil the ending, but it's not very good. And not good being, well, it's not really conclusive, it just ends. Oh, you can still do more quests and post-game battles, but it didn't really feel a conclusive ending point. I guess it didn't really help before I got this game. I was comparing it to their other ones, but that was my mistake. This story is nowhere near that level. However, I do think with tweaks here and there, and maybe added pro controller support for co-op, like come on, why do we have to use the Joy-Cons? The combat might be my favorite from Platinum Games. It really feels good using two characters at once, and I can imagine many JoJo fans actually having a lot of fun living out their anime fantasies with the combat. But okay, what's next? Lappy, what is it? Can't you see I'm busy reviewing the game?
The Legatus Terminal. If you connect your Legatus, you can change your Legion's colors.
I swear that's it. You'll pay for that jump scare, doggo. Now I'm the giant doggo. Nothing can stop me now. Okay, this is too much fun.
Trojan, RamZaes, Magnum, Sheik.